Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Kristy K, career and executive coach and founder of Work Solutions LLC, and we are excited to be back, continuing our 21-day career pivot series. The Prescription for Career Success Summit and book launch was in April, and both were a resounding success. I encourage you to check those out. But today we're going to focus on day 6 of this 21-day series, right? It was definitely been longer than 21 days, but hopefully all of the information that we are being able to share with you, you're able to take it and use it to help you get to the next steps in your career. I really want to focus today on why the way you network as a federal employee may not be beneficial to how you need to network in order to make your career transition. So if you're coming from the federal world and trying to break into the private sector, here's something you may not realize, that the way that you've been networking, it doesn't always translate. It's not that it's wrong, it's just not enough. So let's take a quick look here at some of these strategies, right? In federal spaces, relationships often develop within the same agency or department, and there's a strong focus on internal processes and hierarchy. And while that is useful for getting things done in the federal government, it doesn't give you the external visibility or agility that's needed in the private world. All right. Now, private sector networking is less about the tenure and titles and more about the value and visibility. It's about how well you can connect across industries, share your expertise, and position yourself as someone who brings solutions, not just experience. I've done these workshops all over the DC area. I've been doing them online and just trying to share with people that it's great that you have a lot of content but in your resume, but people who are in the private sector really just want to get to the point. Show us what the solutions are that you can deliver for the organization. Same thing when you're out networking, right? So how do you shift your networking strategy? The first step is going to focus on start building relationships outside of your agency. We get into this comfort zone, right? Because we thought that we were going to be in these positions for the rest of our life, or move progressively throughout the agency, or be able to make a transition. But what do you do when you have to completely start over? You need to look for people in industries or roles that align with your next career move and not just your current one. Because networking with purpose means that you're being intentional. You don't just collect contacts or build connections. Instead of attending every mixer or joining every group, here's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on targeted outreach. Identify professionals doing the kind of work that you do and reach out to them to learn from them. Because a strong network isn't built overnight. So if you're working in the federal government, if you are making that transition, you really need to be working on building networks outside of that comfort zone that you're in. And I have said this over and over to people as I've continued to do this work over the last few months. Are you going to support groups? When people are saying, okay, you're attending a networking event, is it a support group that you're going to, or is it an actual networking event? If there's a whole bunch of people there who are unemployed, but you guys are supporting each other emotionally, that's great. But it's not going to do anything for you strategically when it comes network-wise, because you need to be in the rooms with recruiters, business organizations, people who can help you to land a job. Now, again, there may be somebody in your current network who can help you to do that, but you need to be putting yourself out there and not just going back into a comfort zone, right? You need to be strategic about how you do that process. So make sure that you're not just attending support groups, you're actually attending networking events that can help you get to your next level. Now, like I said, a strong network is not going to be built overnight. It grows through genuine conversations, shared values, consistent engagement. And so you need to be leveraging both of these things that I just kind of mentioned to you in terms of, okay, I have a support group, but I also need to be making sure that I'm intentionally attending events that's going to put me in front of recruiters and industry partners that can help me to land my next job. So you need to start by asking meaningful questions, offering insights, and sharing interest in others' work, because that's how trust is built. And remember that the titles and stuff are great, but people actually want to know the results. And that's a whole thing that I can get into about the natural conversation and how you do your pitch. Now, if LinkedIn isn't already your best friend, it's time to change that, because you can use LinkedIn to find people with roles that you're aspiring to. See where they've worked, how they talk about their skills, follow industry hashtags, join relevant groups, right? And really try to comment on posts, share your thoughts, position yourself as someone who's interested and as well as an expert in this field. Now, I also want you to consider attending industry events. virtual or in person, there's a lot of free stuff. I go on Eventbrite all the time, or I check out Meetup to kind of see what's going on in terms of industry trends and standards. These aren't just about handing out business cards. They're about learning what's trending, meeting with people who are active in your desired field. Because again, you should be looking at yourself in terms of skill set, not that I'm just going into one. I tell my clients, hey, let me loop you into a career cluster, but also we can work on positioning you to make go to a totally different field, because there are transferable skills that you have, right? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is thinking that networking is just for asking for a job. It's not. It's about planting seeds. But again, are you attending an actual networking event, or are you attending a support group? Okay, so you need both, but just keep that in mind. Because most of the time, if you're attending a support group, a lot of times you've already planted seeds with those individuals, right? Or you just may need it to just know, okay, like this is to see that you're not the only one going through something. You need to get yourself in front of the right people, and you need to work to stay on their radar so that when an opportunity does come up, they think of you first. The truth is, people hire people that they know and trust, or people who are referred by someone that they know, like, and trust. And that's why intentional network is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to pivot your career. Another smart tactic is that you got to offer value before asking anything. And that's why I say that when it comes to pitching yourself, that has to be strategic. Nobody just wants to when you introduce yourself right away, you're giving a 30-second pitch or 60-second pitch about who you are, what you do, and what you can deliver. This isn't Shark Tank. Well, it kind of is, but you have to be strategic and you have to follow the natural flow of conversation. One of the things you can do on LinkedIn is you can just be sharing articles that people might like, or introduce them to someone who could be helpful to their business. And this is where, again, leveraging both that support group and the networking. People remember those who help them, and they're more likely to help you in return. Now, one of the things I want you to do here is focus on a mindset shift, because networking isn't transactional, it's transformational. It's about building a circle of people who can grow with you throughout your career. So stop networking just to get something and start networking to build something. But again, you're in a position right now, or maybe in a position where it's like, okay, I need to leverage both the support group and go to actual networking events, but I need to know how to pitch myself in those events. And that's natural conversation, right? Real networking happens when you lead with purpose, build trust over time, and nurture relationships that go beyond job titles. Now, I want to tell you something. The very foundation of everything that we do is building your career brand. And right now, a lot of you may be in a position where you're just trying to figure out, well, before I can even start the networking process, how do I even just get to the basics of doing my resume? So if you want to upgrade your networking strategy, we've been doing quite a few workshops throughout DC on LinkedIn and resume writing. And throughout the entire month of June, we're going to be doing the Beat the Bot strategies for writing an ATS compliant resume, because the basis of your networking, it starts with just being clear about your career brand. So every Tuesday night in June, we will be doing a free workshop called Beat the Bots. And I encourage you to sign up for that, because it'll let me know more about your questions. What do you want? What do you need? Right? So in this workshop, we're going to just teach you back to the basics of, here's the things that I need to do to not only to build my network, but I need to start with a clear career brand and knowing who I am. Now, if you are unable to attend one of those free workshops, I'm going to encourage you to also reach out to me to schedule a free 15-minute appointment. Let's discuss how we can help support you with building your career brand. Thanks for tuning in for day 6. Remember, there is a difference between a support network and you just networking for a position, right? You need to leverage both, because hopefully by you going out there and networking to build connections, to make that career transition, that becomes a part of your support network. And those individuals also become mentors, sponsors, and champions for you as you make that career transition and pivot into your next role. So thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back tomorrow as we continue, because we hope to wrap up this series in the coming weeks. But join us again every Tuesday in June. We are doing the Beat the Bots workshop to help you learn some strategies for writing an ATS compliant resume. Check out our book, Prescription for Career Success. If you need someone to feed into your soul, we have some great authors. You see the QR code here on the screen. Thanks for tuning in today. And we look forward to seeing you at our events in June.